All right, you are now tuned into the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmy Lee Velez. I'm here with Goose, Heck, special guest Pun,
yes sir,
and Gabe Rivera.
What up?
We got a stacked house tonight, guys.
Why does Gabe get his full last name out there?
I don't know. I have no idea.
What's that all about?
I don't know.
Come on.
Special treatment.
I'll say I'm special.
Yeah, so, all right, there you have it. This episode is titled The Fast Lane. In this episode, we have special guest and race car driver David Cuevas Jr., a.k.a. Pun. In this episode, we discuss the race car industry, sponsorship, major racing influences, the current state of cars/racing, the fastest quarter mile, street racing, and much more. We wrap the episodes up with quotes from Jeff Gordon and Mario Andretti. All right, if you're new, thank you for joining us. Guys, don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. If you're new, we'd like to kick things off with a definition from dictionary.com. Obviously, since we have a race car driver here, we are going to define the term racetrack, as if you didn't know what that was. A plot of ground, usually oval, laid out for horse racing, the course for any race, which is actually kind of funny because Pun doesn't drive in a circle. He drives just straight.
Yeah. He don't race horses either.
And he doesn't race horses.
There you go.
Well, it does say the course for any race at the end.
This car has a lot of horses, though.
That is true.
That is true.
You know, somebody,
the power of horses.
Comedian Bill Burr was just talking about that. He's like, how ancient are we that we're still measuring the power of a car from a horse? We haven't been riding horses for hundreds of years. Like we're literally, well, I said hundreds, maybe 100. I'm pretty sure.
Early 1900s.
Yeah, 1917, somebody still had a horse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are horses still alive?
No, they don't exist anymore.
They use UFOs.
Yeah. So it's still called a racetrack, though, right?
Yeah.
Racetrack. Yeah.
or it's drag strip.
A drag strip. I knew there was another name. I'm like, what am I forgetting here? Drag strip. So
that's the difference. It's a strip, like a straightaway.
That does make
as
sense.
opposed to
Quarter
track.
mile, right?
Correct.
I think it goes further. But is it a half a mile? But you race a quarter mile, but I'm sure it goes way further than a
All
quarter.
tracks vary.
Yeah.
ACO, I think, is like almost a half mile.
Yeah.
English Town, that's a very short track.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is.
That's scary. It's like, oh, there's a quarter mile. Oh, there goes a wall of what, bushes and nets. Just nets.
Sand and net at the end of the track.
Sand and net.
And a brick wall.
You never want to hit that sand because it's not going to be the crash landing that you want. Especially what you hit speeds of nearly 200, depending on the kind of car you have, anywhere between 100, mid 100s to mid 200s. I'm assuming. Yeah. And then obviously if you have drag cars, or I don't know what they hit. Do
they allow specific cars only though, because of the speed? Because how short the track actually is. I mean, a quarter mile is a quarter mile, but like we were just saying, how far out
they did have like the jet ones that.
Right. That run fives, and now also rotary engines and 6 cylinders are also running 5 seconds now.
Wow.
Oh
Jesus.
my gosh.
That's insane.
I just saw a video actually of it was like apparently this rocket basically with wheels, literally
Jet car.
a jet car.
Yeah.
But this was like the most powerful one, and it was not even impressive. The impressive part was when the engine kicked on, when he's ready to go, and the lights are bing bing whatever. Like the big flame from the back, it's shooting at it like 4 like reservoirs or whatever they're even called, the freaking mufflers. It's shooting 4 big flames. Dude, it was picking up the blacktop and blowing it off.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was like it blew away the racetrack behind it. Like where you do your burnout. It was just flying in the air.
He burned
I'm
out.
like, and it was pointless though. Like the dude went boom, he went down. It wasn't even impressive.
Yeah.
He ran like 8s. I'm like, what? You did all that noise and all that bark, Mitch. 8s is crazy, but for all that work, that was probably like $1 million car.
Actually,
and this dude like burned up.
That's not even impressive though. I've seen going down to.
No, I know. I'm saying that anything under 10 seconds is really good. But I'm saying this dude,
it's a jet car.
For it being a jet car, you're expecting the 5. I was expecting waiting to look at 5, and it wasn't. It was like 8.5 something. It was like which anything under 10 seconds is a respectable thing. It just depends on.
Yeah.
Anything under 15 is respectable. It depends on what your car is, right?
Right.
Yeah, because you're dealing with different levels of. I mean, he can explain it.
With those jet cars, what's intriguing is like just the actual takeoff. Like, as soon as you see them, get ready, go, boo, and then when they take off, because that's it, then they're gone. You don't even see them.
Well, I think the guy, his buddy who was like flagging him down, I think his hat melted off his head.
Jeez.
How can you even hear? I'm assuming they have like microphones or something. There's no way that guy's hearing.
Earphones in the helmet.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's like a whole other, level of, it was actually obnoxious, really. it was entertainment is what it was. I don't think the guy even raced anyone. I just think he just did it as like a show. Yeah. So, anyway, all right, so let's do a brief bio of our guest, David Cuevas Jr., a.k.a. Pun. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and how did you get started in racing?
I'm 27 years old, and I was always in the garage when I was little. From the time I remember, me and my dad were in the garage taking apart his 68 Chevelle Malibu, whether we were just doing the transmission, taking the exhaust out, the carbs, the intake. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just taking orders, basically.
Passing wrenches.
Passing wrenches. So I learned at a very young age. And then by the time I turned 13, I drove that car in the parking lot at Echo, New Jersey.
That's awesome.
Oh, jeez.
That is awesome.
That's crazy.
So I just took it around a little circle in the parking lot. And then when I go to park the car, I almost hit the trailer.
That's awesome.
So scared my dad a little bit on that. And I think the next year or 2 years later, that's when I went down my first time in the Chevelle.
Down the track.
That's
Oh, you actually raced the Chevelle. That was your first
time.
First time going down was in the Chevelle.
Yeah.
Oh man.
First time.
That's awesome though, because that car has been around. I mean, that car has been around before you was even born.
Yeah, I'm 27.
27, right. I remember that car. I remember when he picked it up, your dad.
Yeah.
It was maroon with white racing stripes.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Dude,
that.
holy smokes. I was maybe 6, 7 years old when your dad got that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's had it for over 30 years.
He had it for a while.
Yeah.
Over 30 years, because
I know the paint
35.
job's older than me.
Yeah.
That's true.
I remember he always said that.
That car is like a family legacy, though. It definitely is.
Yeah.
It is.
I remember as a little kid, we're over at our grandmom's house, and at our grandmom's house in Bristol, she lived right by the train tracks. Well, the train tracks had the bridge with the underpass, obviously, so the cars can, still go through the town or whatever. And right at that cutout, he would do a burnout just so it would echo in the thing, and we're all like cheering him on our grandmom's porch.
Yeah.
Oh, it was classic. With the drop top, everything was down. Oh, it was cool.
Yeah,
Super
that's
cool.
awesome.
And that's crazy. And he still has it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I still drive it as of yesterday.
I remember, I saw you posted
That's
something
great.
on Instagram or whatever it was, that you took her out for the first time in a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After fixing it from last year.
Yeah, that's, well, wait, isn't this the car too that you, that something wasn't tightened on it, like a wheel, and the wheel just like rolled off on a turn?
The front wheel, we just got it fixed. We put new wheels on it, and I just took it around the block, and we got Route 13, which is a straight line basically.
Yeah.
And we turned to go home, and right down the street from our house, the wheel just falls right off. The driver's side.
Man.
I'm like, thank God this thing didn't fall off when I was on 13.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Going with some
gosh, can you
speed.
imagine?
Yeah.
My goodness. I did not know that.
I
Yeah.
remember maybe like 2 years ago, you took me out in the Chevelle. We just went, you had to get something. Dude, this thing, it is a muscle, like the definition of a muscle car, this thing is a gas hog.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. I remember you could almost see the meter going down.
Oh, the
He
gauge,
put
the
in,
gas gauge?
yeah, he put in like, I don't know, what it was, like $50 or something. And it did something and went up or whatever. But by the time we were done, we literally used a quarter tank. It was like, holy smokes. And we went into Levittown from Bristol, went around, and he was like letting it rip. But it was like, what the heck?
Well, there's some like either Saturday afternoons or Friday afternoons. He definitely dumps like a quarter gallon of gas in front of my barbershop. He'll pull up and just let it rip and just smoke out the whole shop. Everyone's like, "Who was that?" I'm like, and my employees, they already know. They're like, "Cousin Dave."
That's awesome.
That's great.
All right, so you've been in the racing industry for quite a while. So how it goes is you guys were working on cars. Your dad was working on cars. You're kind of just, you're the the toddler just running around, doing whatever your dad's doing. Then you just basically evolved into this. So your dad was racing though this whole time.
Yeah, he was. I think the earliest picture in the garage is 1993 we have, and that's with the Chevelle when he was racing.
Wow.
Yeah, did I make like a magazine cover? Not a cover, but didn't I make like a magazine, inside magazine?
No, I did that.
Oh, you did that. Oh, you fooled me. Look, dude.
He's also a graphic designer.
Yeah, if you guys all know, hit him up.
So what year were you born?
89.
89. All right, so what, you were like 4 years old and your dad, so you literally were like, holy crap, you were a little buckaroo just literally following around. And I remember the picture. Didn't he win that year too? Didn't he? Or there's a picture of him holding up a trophy. The dude got a mullet and everything. It was like a classic
That
picture.
thick dark stash. With the mullet.
With the ferret on his lip. That was great. Yeah. So, all right. So explain to everyone what kind of racing you do. Because every time I say racing, I feel like somebody has the image of the classic
NASCAR.
NASCAR, yeah.
Well, it's quarter-mile drag racing. They use a tree, which NHRA uses. NHRA, drag racing. NASCAR is NASCAR. Circuit racing, just to clear that up.
And what's a tree?
Tree is, it helps you stage. So there's two small lights when you're staging. So you pull up. First light would turn on, then you probably pull up another half a foot. The second light would turn on, so you're staged. And now,
Which means you're ready to fucking
which
rock
means
and
you're ready
roll.
to go. And if you're racing someone, so you have to wait for them to stage also. So you're sort of kind of paying attention.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
But once both races are staged, then the yellow lights will start to drop. So 3, 2, 1. There's 3 yellow lights, and then the green after that. So you kind of take off before the green light turns on.
Gotcha.
Sort
You're
of
kind of guessing, but don't they?
Time it.
Don't
Yeah, you
they?
gotta time it.
Yeah.
We're timing it, but don't they like offset that though, so people don't do that?
If you're bracket racing,
Okay.
so if I have a 12-second car, you have an 11-second car, so I leave a second faster.
Gotcha.
So
It
it's
just
almost-
yeah.
it's like a
That
handicap.
will mess me up though. Pulling up and a dude takes off before me and I'm still like yellow. I would get so anxious. You don't get anxious?
I used to.
Yeah. Oh,
Not
I'm sure.
anymore.
After a while, so many
Yeah,
times.
Now it's just normal, right?
It definitely takes a while to get used to. I red lighted a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Bunch of
gotta be
times.
the worst. So much prep, so much stuff in here. Bing. And then you just drive down all slow.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
I just rip it.
Yeah, just for the hell
Yeah,
of
Yeah,
it.
you might as well
just
just finish
keep
it off,
going.
run
Yeah.
it, just to see the speed you got, even though you're disqualified at that point, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So explain the bracket racing.
All right, so you have all different types of speeds and horsepowers of cars, so they put them in brackets.
Yeah.
So there.
So it's like a fairly even match.
right. So there would be maybe 11.99 and up, meaning to 11.99 to let's just say 15 seconds,
Okay.
and then your next one would be 9.99 to 11.99.
Gotcha.
That'll be another one, and then it'll be 9.99 and faster, which is basically anything under
Yeah.
9.99.
Right.
So they'll split them up that way to give everybody a fair chance.
Yeah.
Because if you're running 7 seconds and all of a sudden you're running a car that runs 15 seconds,
Yeah, it's the
you're gonna be sitting at the light.
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
duck.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
So I guess
He's halfway down and then you
Right.
can go.
like
That
the
would make no sense.
the race equivalent of like a weight class.
Yes, exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
It's only fair, and if you actually saw this live, you would it makes way more sense.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Because you see cars blowing by, and you're like, yeah, there's definitely two different a bunch of different categories,
Right.
because
Yeah.
some cars are hauling down there. That's crazy. So anyway, I had another question, but before we go there, just explain. I just want to get more background. All right, so the racetrack and your family. Explain what this means to you guys, because it is like legit event every time. I mean, you guys are down there from, depending on the race and the event, really. It could be Thursday to Sunday, or it could be
Right.
just Saturday and Sunday, just Sunday, whatever. What is it like? I mean, it's your family's like dead, like supportive and are in like really into it. Like explain that to everyone who doesn't know. It's like we didn't grow up not we as in us, like someone who didn't grow up in like a racing family, like with all the preparation, everything. I mean, from your mom cooking to your dad putting stuff together the night before, like it's literally like a family event.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a family getaway.
Yeah.
Some people go to the mountains and we go to the racetrack.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, so I mean, you got to think, your parents been together since they're teenagers.
Right.
So she saw him, I'm sure they went to races before he actually raced.
Yeah.
So that was like, what, in the 80s? And you're talking, we're now, 30 years later, it's legit like a racetrack, or, race car team. What's the team name?
Alley Racing.
They got Alley Racing. Explain how's it, just for the people who don't know, where we live or whatever. So the family resides in Bristol Borough. So how did it become Alley Racing?
So we literally tested our car in the alleyway.
It's so funny.
So classic, though.
So an alley, for the people, who may or may not know, there's, the houses it's like a bunch of row homes and, the backyards, and then the split, from the other street who have row homes and backyards that, are basically back to back. There's a pavement, a strip of pavement. That strip of pavement is an alley. That's what we refer to an alley.
Yeah.
Some people don't. They have alleys as in between houses.
Yeah.
This
Right.
is our backyard is an alley, and it's the width of about a lane and a half.
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
could think of it that
it's
way.
big enough for like a trash truck to come through.
Yes.
Right.
For people to-
Exactly.
yeah.
So they call it an alley. Alleys in Bristol actually have names. So it's not just like a random piece of pavement. So these alleys are just kind of, you can, that's where we all ended up riding our first bike, getting our knee scrapes,
Dirt
racing,
bikes.
Riding our
dirt
first mini bikes there.
quads,
Yeah,
mini bikes, everything.
Scooters,
because it was
yeah.
a piece of pavement. There wasn't
no traffic.
no drive-through
Much
traffic.
traffic,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was just people's like they're pulling out of their driveway into the alley, then into the main street.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's how I got the name Alley.
That's how I got the name. Testing the cars in the alleyway.
Burning out or showing off. Family
or.
be there.
Yeah,
Family
either
be
or.
there, and it was like, oh, like, pull out the Chevelle. I remember
Right.
because I remember being a kid. I remember Uncle Dave just pull it out. He's feeling all good, just letting it rip, and we're all again like little kids cheering. Yeah, it's freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I know for them it's more than a family event. Actually, there's people that live on your block that have cars as well, so they pull them out.
Right.
It's like almost like a small community type team.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have neighbors who are also involved in, the muscle cars and the racing. And
Yeah.
so it's, swapping tools, trading parts, whatever it takes. There's a lot of support there. It's pretty cool. If you never had a chance to watch a drag race, it is unreal. First of all, it's loud as anything, and there's a lot of excitement.
Yeah.
And you will smell rubber for the next 2 days.
Yeah.
You just inhale that stuff, but it's definitely a good time. All right, so moving right along, who are your racing influences and why?
Honestly, none.
None.
I watch it, but mainly when I go to the track, I just keep to myself.
Yeah.
As of now, like when I was younger, I used to just hop in the car and just whatever, get in there and just try to drive it.
Yeah.
Now I keep to myself because my thing is how I learn, I have to stay calm.
Yeah.
No matter how hyped people get.
Yeah.
Because most of the people, they're partying around me, so I'm just...
Yeah.
I got to sit there
You
and be
gotta
calm.
focus.
Yeah. So I learned that in the past, so... Yeah.
So what the way ACO is, I can only speak for ACO. The way ACO is set up, so there's constant announcements. I still to this day don't even know what they're saying, but obviously they know because they're just listening for their bracket to get called, really, and right. Yeah, and then so when his bracket gets called, you hear engines. He can maybe explain the different types, but you can tell difference between a rotary engine and was it the
V8 or piston.
piston. You could tell the sound. You could just tell, okay, they must have just called the rotary because it is loud.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they pull up, kind of line up on this whole other strip before the racetrack and kind of get in their order.
Yeah, the staging lanes.
Yes, there you go, the staging lanes. And then if anyone's ever watched Drag Race, you kind of see them pull into that tunnel, and there it is. The stage is set, and all you see is a quarter mile of just blacktop and just sidewalls, and then the crowd, and crowds on both sides. It's pretty cool. But the thing is, there's a waiting period because you're sitting there like a duck, kind of waiting for the guys before you to go. Anything can happen. It could be an oil leak. It could be a crash. And so when he's talking about being patient or being calm, that is possibly one of the most hardest things to do there because all you hear is a crowd going crazy. Like he said, people are partying. It's like a lot going on, very busy. But then he has to stay there, and it could be like 95 degrees on, and he has his whole jumpsuit, helmet, like all this stuff on. That takes a lot of discipline and a lot of patience. I've seen him. I was in like a t-shirt or like a tank top, shorts, and I was drenched in sweat, and he has his whole black suit on with all geared up, ready to go, and he had to sit there for like 45 minutes because it was like a spill, like a gas or oil spill, something.
Yeah, because if it's like 90 degrees outside, it's like definitely like 10 degrees like hotter on the track.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then inside the car, you can't have air conditioning, obviously.
We have a fan, but it does do justice blowing hot air around.
Oh, sure.
It helps out.
It does.
And it's that bad.
Yeah, it's that bad.
You would actually
That
accept
bad.
the hot air.
You enjoy the hot air.
And that's like another thing. You guys, when you get to the staging lane, I know you have your car off because I remember helping push it down to the track because you only have a certain amount of fuel in the tank, right? Just because it's a weight thing, right? It's a weight restriction, so you want just enough gas to get you down that quarter mile. Because if you fill up a tank, that weighs you down. Yeah. So I remember like pushing them down, then they started like right as before they get into the tunnel. Right. So that's like it's all like techniques too, right? All kinds of.
I like to drive to the staging lanes. I like to drive up. Yeah. I don't like being pushed. It's such a hassle.
Yeah.
Get the quad. Oh, where's this guy at?
Yeah.
I'm prepared, so I'm able to do it by myself.
Right. Just get things going. Yeah, and actually, I do agree. 2+, there's a lot, like we keep saying, going back to this. The pit crew, who knows? It's not even the pit crew. There's some people from another pit crew who can be, quote, partying. Yeah. People in the way, just knuckleheads. Man.
I've seen with like dirt bikes and quads going in and out, and the cars are all lined up, and you see the guys getting all frustrated. Because you got quads and dudes, and everybody just like running in between these cars that are lined up for racing. And it's like, all right, you guys got to step away. Somebody's going to scratch something or get hit or hurt.
What was the longest gap you had to wait in between races? Because that's a whole other thing, too. Because you think about it, like you race, you're in the zone, you finally get on the track, boom, your adrenaline's going, you get back, and then boom, you're sitting like a duck, waiting for your thing to get called.
We're saying for like brackets, like after the races, and then
it was
for
the
next
longest
time
in between. Yeah, between you qualified, then you're going in for like the next.
All right, so once we get there, around 9 o'clock, they'll do time trial runs. So they'll call everyone up. Everyone there will go up to their set, whatever they call your bracket. Yeah. So basically, it's everyone. But you'll go by your bracket. So they'll do that maybe around 11 o'clock. So in between, we'll probably get about 2 passes. Yeah. So they'll take a break maybe around 11 for an hour or 45 minutes. And then they'll start round 1. And basically, they call whoever they want.
Yeah.
They have a set schedule, but it never works out right.
Yeah.
So let's just say they call me up round 1. All right, I win round 1. Now I'm probably sitting for about 4.5 hours.
Wow.
Holy smokes.
On a big event. So Pan American's the big event, which is in July every year. So after our first round, we're sitting there for a long time.
Wow.
That's crazy.
And that event, there's people coming from all over the place, right? Like Puerto
Rico, Australia sometimes.
Yeah.
Basically anywhere.
Yeah.
Flying from anywhere.
Wow. So they fly their cars here from Australia?
Boat.
Well, obviously, boat, ship it over here. Holy
smokes. Months
that's
ahead.
Crazy.
Well, you guys go up and down the East Coast too, right?
Furthest we went was Orlando, Florida for the first time.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome.
Hey, you put a name out there for yourself too, because I mean, you're not just racing. I don't think he explained it. He's not racing the Chevelle at this point.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
He's got to explain
his actual
race car, the Conquest,
which is the second year, right? That you're really full into the Conquest.
Yeah.
Name all the cars that you actually raced down the track.
I'll just go from when I first started.
Yeah.
So when I first started was the 68 Chevelle. And by the time I turned 15, 16 years old, we had a 72 Datsun, and it had a motor out of a 89 Conquest. It was a 4-cylinder turbo. And then we've been running that car for probably about 6 years, maybe.
What were the times on that?
Fastest time was 9:68.
Oh, really? You were running 90? Holy crap! I was gonna
How
say
many
12.
how many times did you win in that car?
I think 5 times.
I was gonna say
First-
that's your
first
first
place
trophy,
5 times.
right?
The whole winning
Yeah.
the
It was your
whole
first trophy with that car.
the whole event. Yeah.
Yeah, I won Pan Americans 3 years in a row and a couple small events.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's great.
That's wild.
Yeah.
All right, and
And
then,
then-
what was your next car?
After that, we got a 87 Conquest. So basically, we got the car that we used to take the motors out of
Wow.
for the
That's
Datsun.
awesome.
So that's the car that had the 4-cylinder. So it was a buddy of my dad's. It was a full tube chassis, which means it's just a roll bar.
Yeah,
Trying to compare it. So let's just say a dragster.
yeah.
So it's just nothing but bars.
Nothing
Right.
but aluminum and bars. Yeah.
Right. Chromoly bars. So there's no floor. It's all bars. The only thing factory on the car is the fenders, the doors, and the quarter panels.
Wow.
Everything else is just
You
custom.
guys took the windows out, right?
Yeah, and the
yeah.
windows are plexiglass also.
Yeah, you have to take them out. All right, and then now,
Well, what's in that? What motor do you guys have in there?
Okay, so now we wanted to go faster. Well, I wanted to go faster.
yeah,
So we got a motor out of a MK4 Toyota Supra.
Yes.
so sick.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
insane.
Super was like one of my favorite cars.
So-
back in the day.
Supras came twin turbo, correct?
Yeah, inline 6 twin turbo.
And do you have the twins running?
No, it's
It's
single now.
Singled out. Okay.
Single monster.
So
But you have to have it singled, or can you run it?
no,
You can twin turbo, 3
Oh, it doesn't
turbos.
matter?
Yeah. It don't matter.
You did that for what? For lightweight
Well,
weight reasons, or because you wanted a bigger turbo?
we needed a bigger turbo to get more boost. The small turbos that came with that stock engine, they're for low RPM and high RPM. So basically, you don't get turbo lag.
Gotcha.
Turbo lag
So
is
they
just
pick
when
up
you're-
after each other, kind of.
Exactly. So you have one turbo for low RPM, and then you have the second turbo for high RPM.
yeah.
Makes
That
sense.
makes sense. So now you have one turbo in it, and how big is this one? What's the boost on you have?
I think our turbo is a GT45. It's a T4. It's huge. It's from Berg Warner, dual ball bearing, and we run about 38 pounds of boost.
So what's your fastest time on that so far?
803 at 170 miles an hour.
Oh wow. That's how fast you're going to get here the other night. That's crazy.
insane.
And
So
and
that's fast.
and most of this stuff, it's just you and your dad working on the motor, right? Other than what about like I know everything's like computerized now, so you guys have computer systems and stuff.
Right.
So you guys do that yourself, like with the computer, like programming and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so the past 2 motors my dad built himself. Took them apart, redid it. He was just fed up with everyone's BS, so he
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
took it and did it himself. He learned it, came out good.
Yeah.
Then now, as of right now, he rebuilt another one because one of our heads melted. That was when we went to Orlando, Florida. So as of now, we got the car ready, doing some minor adjustments to the cage, and getting ready to go to the dyno soon.
Nice.
Nice. And now you guys are not sponsored, so this is like everything is out of pocket.
Yeah, everything's out of Pop's pocket.
Out of
Yeah.
Pop's pocket. So
Emphasize
anyone
that.
who knows anything about cars, and if you don't, just think about anytime you get your car inspected or something goes wrong and you see a light go off on your dashboard, think about how much that costs. These guys are doing this week in and week out on a much higher level because the parts for these things are not cheap. You got to think they're racing
Or you
parts.
can't-
They're not just a regular standard factory part. So they have to be more durable, higher quality. Basically, like if you could think of heavy duty.
Yeah.
Sometimes
level parts.
not even easy to come by.
Or sometimes they got to
Yeah.
make them themselves.
Special
Yeah.
order.
So it's very first of all very expensive, but obviously you have to have a passion for it because no one in their right mind is just doing it for fun or the quote adrenaline rush is going to
Yeah.
continually spend that much money. So obviously it's like a love it's a love thing, right? Is it a love-hate thing when the money has to come out? Or is your dad
I guess that's
like,
on Pop's side.
Yeah.
For me, it's all about the adrenaline.
Yeah, the adrenaline, the rush.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this to somebody, because they were asking me about my wrist, and I shattered my wrist on a dirt bike or whatever. But they're saying, what do you guys get out of just riding that anyway? They're so dangerous, blah blah blah. And I'm like, it's the rush. You get like this adrenaline rush. There's this weird, although there's this crazy adrenaline rush. It's like you're shut off to the world, and it's like it's like just
You're focused
yourself, a lot of speed, like. And then you're anticipating the result. Like, did I win?
Right.
Or how fast did I go? Did I just blow something? What the heck just happened there? Like, there's so much going on in your head, but in some weird way, it's like peaceful, and the rush is like it's indescribable, obviously, because I can't describe it. So then when you're doing it, and all of a sudden it's kind of like he said, they went from one engine to 2 or 3 ones later, and why are they here now? Because he said he wanted to go faster. So when I was on the dirt bike, it's exactly what it was. I'm like, oh, let's see how fast I can go. Oh, let me see if I can go faster. And you're pushing it every time, even in the right car.
Yeah.
How fast can I go before the red light?
Yeah.
You see the red light about a quarter mile away. This is just regular you in the street. And you're like, well, let me see if it's going to turn green. Is it going to turn green? No. And you're like slamming on the brakes like an idiot. But for some reason, I don't know why. I don't know if it's a guy thing or just a natural human thing.
That adrenaline
It's
kicks
the
in.
adrenaline rush is so awesome.
Yeah.
You can't describe. Plus, there's a lot of factors when you're actually racing like you are. You got like family there, friends there, people like rooting for you. Like, there's a lot of anticipation. The people are hyped. You're hyped. And then like you do something. I can imagine 3 years in a row when you won the Pan American. That's a whole nother level of like rush.
Right.
Does that hype you up when you see family members there and stuff like that? Like people to show up and you're like, hell yeah, they're here. My family's here. Like, does that make you feel any types of way, or is it like you still keep it cordial because you don't want to get too excited about the whole race and everything?
Well, it's more about I do it for them.
Yeah.
Because my adrenaline rush is going down and just
Yeah.
winning was just part of it.
Right.
So after I win, they're all
Yeah.
I'm still trying to keep my cool.
Trying to keep it all composure.
Yeah, trying to keep my composure. But
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I see you guys, painted your current race car and made a few more modifications. The NHRA
Yes.
was just out, and you guys got denied for whatever it was.
Chassis purposes.
Chassis purposes. So then you have to do that bad boy, and then they came out to your dad's garage, right?
Yeah, they come out to the house.
Yeah, he's got to be all certified. All the
to be all
chassis, like the whole
certified.
frame, everything has to be certified. That's
You
that
have to
was
understand,
right.
these guys are going
Yes.
so fast that it's like getting your car inspected. Like your car has to reach certain amount of qualifications for it to be street legal. Their race car has to meet certain qualifications to be race legal, basically,
Yeah.
right?
That's so
Yeah, for
insane.
certain speeds, yeah.
For certain speeds.
That's crazy.
Speeds
You have
and
to have a
times.
parachute.
Yeah, parachute.
Like this stuff. Do you have to have willy bar?
Parachute,
Or-
wheelie bar.
Oh gosh.
Ejector seat.
Like the crash dummy.
Cage around the driver. Like I said, it all depends how fast you're going.
Right.
That's insane.
So what was the thing behind the painting the car silver? Is there you guys rebranding yourselves, or just something you want to do? Just want to change things up?
Just something Pop wanted to do.
Yeah.
So he took it into his hands and did it himself.
Meanwhile, he painted himself, right?
In the garage. He wrapped the whole garage in thick plastic.
Oh man,
That's
that's
awesome.
crazy.
Yeah,
That
made
is
made
awesome.
ventilation with the garage door and then the front door with fans and filters.
That's awesome.
That is
That is so
Yeah.
awesome. So what? So he did. I mean, I'm sure there wasn't no like body work to actually be done, or was there? I mean, because the
No.
body was pretty solid, so he just
After-
sanded.
yeah.
Well, he
after
did
they
the scoop in
sanded
the
it.
hood, though, didn't he?
Besides the hood because of the turbo, but
Well, yeah.
other than that,
So just
the body
sanding,
was pretty short.
priming, and then painting.
Right.
That's a
legit,
process
too.
all on its
Yo,
own.
it's legit. Like it looks like a legit paint job. The best. Well, it was a legit paint job, but I'm saying like it looks like they took it somewhere and got it done. But Tammy, your Pun's mom was telling me they did like 15 freaking like layers. I'm
Yeah,
like,
layers.
holy smokes!
For
Did a lot of
super
layers.
It's
glossy.
legit. Yes,
I think he
and
did
it's
seven layers of paint and Like 7 layers of clear.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
It's like a thick, like it is like legit looking.
That's
Like it looks
awesome.
straight out of like a factory. Like it's unreal.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, dude, all right. So, a personal question for you. If you could race any car in the world, what would it be? So, it didn't matter. You know, we're always on Instagram sharing photos of like exotic cars. Any car in the world, you could race, put it on the quarter mile, the drag strip. What car would it be?
That's hard. 'cause
Man. I like a lot of cars.
Yeah.
like
A lot of cars, a lot of supercars,
The supercar. I
big
know-
power supercars. I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
But let's put it this way: if I were to get in a car younger and race, it would definitely by far be NASCAR.
Yeah.
Definitely by far.
that's
NASCAR,
awesome.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had a chance to do that,
Yeah.
I'd do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's not on that production like floor car level. He's beyond it, you know. So most
Yeah,
of those cars
right.
are custom and they're suited for speed and racing. As you get older, I guess you just want like you're not thinking of Lamborghinis and Ferraris. They're production. The cars they're building, they're going like way faster than that in a short period of time.
Dude, you know what I heard? How much is a NASCAR? You know what I heard? You know like dirt bikes, like the motocross joints?
Yeah.
They're $1 million dirt bikes.
Well, yeah.
$1.2 million for that dirt bike. I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so how much is a NASCAR? Because that's 2 more sets of wheels,
They're
bigger
definitely-
engines.
Because motors alone, I think
Or
they're
half
around
a mil.
$100,000.
Close to like a $500,000.
That's
I think.
crazy. And hold on, but these guys have more than one car, right? NASCAR,
Right.
they have multiple cars.
Yeah, when I recently just came from NASCAR over the weekend, so
Oh, you're in Dover, right?
I was at Dover.
I
Yeah,
How
I
was
saw
that?
I saw the thing.
that was a great time.
Yeah.
Great time.
That's awesome.
Dover's awesome. I've been there. Yeah, I know. Like
What do you know? Tell me.
no, for their motors are like at least they max out to like almost a $500,000.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're expensive.
That's why they have multiple sponsors, and even the sponsor that's on the side of like on a NASCAR, right? So all you really see is the right side of the car, like the passenger side, the hood. So even a small side on the driver's side where you really don't see when you're there, it's like 10 to 20 grand, like just one race for a small one.
That they donate to they
No
sponsor.
sponsors.
Yeah, put their logo.
Dude,
on
so
it.
then they're
Get
they're
some
major.
major
Yeah, they're
results.
major sponsors. They're definitely like hundreds of thousands.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly. You're talking about $1 million companies who are sponsoring these guys. So, of course, it's...
Yeah.
The thing is about NASCAR, I mean, they're depending on the race, they're racing for 4 hours straight, and it's one big ad on the side of a car. So who wouldn't? It's like so smart to do it because it's just they're going in a circle and people are
You
staring
won't
at
forget
it.
it.
And then that person becomes like an icon or like a celebrity to some level. And so people want that shirt, they want that jersey, they want
Yeah.
the little toys for the kids. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, think about. I'm not even into NASCAR like that. And Jeff Gordon, I know he went through multiple sponsors, but I remember the original was like the DuPont, right? It was like the DuPont brand, I guess
Yeah.
it was. Because it was like the red, blue, and that highlighter green or whatever, yellow or whatever it was with the number 24. I'm not even into NASCAR, and I already know that just because that's how big of a name this guy was.
Yeah, if you see Austin Dillon, he has like the Maestros they sponsor on the side of his helmet. They have a small space.
Oh, cool.
But even that, they're on a waiting list for so long to just get a small space on his helmet.
No way.
The
That's
car
cool.
is a whole nother like thing. yeah.
Wow. So I guess you start out small for
Yeah, well,
advertisement
yeah,
when
they
it comes to
find out.
NASCAR.
So, all right, so we're going over the whole like race track stuff, race car, racing in general. In your opinion or just in your view, what is there something different you would like to see for the racing that you do? Maybe for the area, in this area we're talking about ACO, or is there something because I know like coming up in any industry, doesn't matter what it is, being a young guy and then growing through it, there's always like that one thing like, man, I wish they had this. Is there something like that you kind of wish that they maybe changed about the racing industry or anything like that?
I think as of right now, I'm not gonna say they're at their peak, but they've been up to date.
Yeah.
So honestly, for me, I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah.
Other guys, they'll ask for more, but I think
Yeah.
everything it's pretty much going pretty good.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, just like as an outsider looking in, is there, and there might be, is there something where they kind of help you get sponsorships, or is there kind of like a thing where you can grow into, or are they pulling in sponsors to help, obviously sponsor a racer or something like that, or is that something that's like a business level that is basically untouchable?
Honestly, it just goes by winning.
Yeah.
When I won my third Pan American, I had Puerto Rico looking at me as a driver.
Yeah.
So basically, it's just if you win, you get rewarded.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get noticed also. Like,
Exactly.
They said this guy's pretty good, winning 3 years in a row. So, yeah, obviously that makes sense that someone would be looking at you as a driver.
So that also means exposure. So it's not just winning at ACO. For someone to get probably a big sponsorship like that, it's winning at the big events, obviously,
Right. Yeah.
but doing it all over the damn, probably U.S., I'm assuming.
Right.
Or winning 3 years back to back.
Yeah. I know. I mean,
That's insane on its own.
so impressive.
Yeah. You never know. You run the not low times, but you run 10 seconds and you constantly win in first place. Someone's gonna sponsor you.
Yeah. All right, so kind of switching gears here, no pun intended. So there are a few car shows that focus on race car driving and drag racing. What are your thoughts on them? Like Pit Boss, is it Pit Boss? It's just like these guys. There's one called Pinks. These guys are just literally drag racing for the pink slip and ownership of cars. You watch them, or is that you think it's cheesy, or what? What's I always like to get someone's view who's in the industry. 95% of the time.
Do you think it's fake? Do you think it's all staged, being that it's on TV?
Personally, I do. Pop loves it though.
Pop
watch
he
Pinks.
just loves everything that has anything to do with racing.
Anything with racing, he watches it. He loves it.
It's hysterical.
That's great.
The one that came out, Street Outlaws, where they race on the street, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Really not a fan of that. Nor Pinks. Like I'll watch when he watches, but I just think it's all.
They gas
BS.
them all up. They make the drama on the side.
Right,
They build it up, and it's like, just let them race. But I do remember buying one of those what do you call those? Like one of those bootleg DVDs, like at the flea market, and it was like street racing. Like some dudes in Philly literally were recording themselves,
Oh shoot!
like from racing quarter miles. Even got the cops chasing them and everything.
Yeah, there's
That was like an adrenaline rush to watch. I was like on the edge of my seat, like, dude, these guys are nuts. Mind you, completely dumb and dangerous. Yeah. But the fact that you caught it on video, I'm gonna watch it now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember
absolutely.
Back in my day, we used to go down to the city and get caught, get trapped by freaking. Well, that's what you're into, and you go down to those areas. Everyone's on the same mindset, so it's an adrenaline rush for everyone.
Yeah. That was I remember. Or then they came out with the dirt bike ones, or dudes are doing wheelies down the whole 95.
Down 95
from how many exits can you go with without dropping the front wheel.
Yeah.
When I went to Florida a couple years ago, a buddy of mine used to live out here. Well, he drag races. Well, does roll runs on 95 in Florida.
What is that?
So basically, they'll run from 40 miles an hour to 200 miles an hour.
Holy smokes!
So they're driving, and then is that where they beep the horn at each other on the road, like 1, 2, 3, and then they just gun it, but they're still driving, right?
For thousands of dollars, they race for.
Oh my god!
Wow.
So they're not at a standstill; they're on 95 driving.
They're
and
already
when they line
in
up,
motion.
yeah, they're already in motion, 40 miles an hour, and then they start off.
Right.
That's insane.
Wow.
From here to Florida, though. Sheesh.
All right. So, who do you have a? Speaking of, I'm gonna have my guess, but I'll just let you answer it. Do you have a race car mentor, coach? Obviously, I'm gonna assume your dad, but is there anyone that kind of you talk to about it, or is just kind of really your dad, you and your dad bouncing ideas off each other?
Yeah, it's more of me and my dad bouncing ideas.
Yeah.
Well, I'm in the car, so basically I teach him.
Yeah.
So
now the roles flipped
right.
around.
Well, once you're in the car, it's not just get in the car and go, because if something happens, what happened?
Yeah, only you know what's going on with the car.
What noise did it make?
Yeah,
How did it sound?
Yeah.
Is there a ticking noise?
Yeah.
Does it sound like your wheels are shaking?
Yeah.
So there's a lot more than to just getting your 2017 Honda, turn it on and go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So when you're in that car, let me take you through a quarter mile basically. So we strap up, hip, chest, waist, put the helmet on, pull up to the water box. So now we're in the pit. So you hit the gas, get some water on the tires, then you stop, pump the brakes, put your line lock up. That locks the front wheels. That way you can just do a burnout, heat the tires up. After that, you're staging. So you walk up to the stage.
Hold on, explain to people. Not everyone gets the why. Why are you getting the tires heated up? Basically,
so you do a burnout to get. They're called slicks. They get sticky. So on top of the pavement already being sticky, your tires will be sticky also because we got 750 horsepower and you're just letting it loose.
Yeah.
So
you want those tires to have grip.
You want them to
exactly.
You don't want them to be sliding as you're taking off, right?
Right. So if some guys don't do burnouts, by the time they give it gas, they're just going to be spinning on the line. Or
Oh, man.
Yeah. So after that, you come up to the stage lane. Pop comes in, turns the nitrous on. We spray it. Then drive it to the stage lane real slow. First light comes on. If I'm racing somebody, I wait for them. Their first light turns on. Their second light turns on. Then I'll stage myself. And then from there, when both lights go on, if it's a heads-up race, I hit the trans brake. And the trans brake is like having a clutch for an automatic. Okay. So you hit it, and we're going up to 4,600 RPMs. And that's at like 28 pounds of boost. So you're ripping it when you let that thing go.
Holy smokes.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Then after that, you do a 60-foot time. And a good 60-foot time is a 1 point time.
Yeah.
A low 1 point time. Just to give you guys an idea. And we're at a 1.22 right now, which is fast.
Wow.
So after you let that trans brake go, it's like
it's go time.
You're pushed back in that seat.
Yeah.
You're kind of glued.
Yeah, you're glued.
Yeah,
and I mean, it feels like you're already outside the car doing 100 miles an hour with your head out the window.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Just starting. You can feel your cheeks go to the back of the helmet.
That's insane.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so now mind you, Dave, Pun, whatever you guys would like to call him for the night, he's a big dude. He's not a small dude. So if he's saying that torque and the force is hitting him and he's feeling that, I can imagine someone my size would probably be literally, they'll have to spatula me out in the
Do you remember Home Alone where the one robber got electrocuted?
Yeah.
Like that. That's what I just pictured when he said. Can you imagine me?
Dude, yeah, that's insane though. Like the force of it, it's crazy.
Yeah,
like, what's the torque on the car?
So we went to the dyno and did 750 horsepower, and the torque was 650 foot-pounds of torque.
God.
Wow, that is wild.
Which is a lot for a 6-cylinder engine, but it's a beefy, it's a good engine, but it's still a lot. I was surprised when I seen it.
That is insane.
From Pop doing this in the garage with his hands. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, to have a product like that is unreal.
Yeah, driving a car is also like building the engine. You got to be patient with it.
Yeah.
You can't, no screw ups. You screw up somewhere down the road, your engine will fail before you even get to the track.
Yeah. And that's why you say you like your calm, cool, collective, because as you go, and I don't know how like your system is, if it's automatic, whatever, your gears change. If you get too excited and do something at the wrong or like prematurely hit something, it can screw up your whole timing, can screw up the whole race.
Right. As of right now, we're using an automatic transmission.
Yeah.
And it's spring loaded, so basically, it'll hit second gear by itself.
All right.
And when do you hit nitrous?
The nitrous is just on the trans brake.
Oh, so it goes.
That helps us with when we're talking about turbo lag. So it'll basically bring the engine up to 4,600 RPM faster than just sitting there.
Oh, gotcha.
If the nitrous ain't there, it might never even spool up.
Gotcha.
Boost wise.
Yeah,
to get it to that 4,600. Yeah,
exactly.
That's interesting.
That makes sense.
So the nitrous is not used at all down the track. racing down the track.
Yeah,
It's just used
so
for just a boost to.
Most people
Right.
think of it as like when you watch the Fast and Furious. They're driving, they push a button, and all of a sudden their whole face is in the back window, and it makes a loud, crazy noise. Yeah, that's all fabricated for
you
TV.
You can see all the gas lines going through the
That's
the
real.
exhaust and all
That's
that.
real.
That's fabricated.
Well, don't get me wrong. You can do it like that, but it's just
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
That's much.
Yeah.
A lot of guys, they're just made on the throttle. They're made on the throttle on the engine. So basically, once a throttle turns, it'll hit a ticker, like a switch. I mean, and the switch would just automatically activate the nitrous once your throttle's full throttle.
Got it.
Gotcha.
That's what I had in my mind.
Right.
How it operated. Okay. That makes sense actually. Now where do you guys get nitrous from? where do you guys shop for your parts?
Pop's connections that he knows, or just catalogs. You go on the internet, you find trustworthy catalogs. Local store, K&M.
Nice.
Motor shops that rebuild motors, they can get parts from just about anywhere.
Yeah. For lower cost probably. Walmart's.
I go to Walmart.
That's where he
Oil
gets his tires
filters.
from.
Oil
Slicks.
All right. So, what's the most difficult part about racing or the racing industry that maybe people like myself doesn't know? I know a fair amount about cars and racing, but not to the level, obviously, that you guys are. Professionals know what you're doing.
Well, number one is cost.
Yeah.
Like, you're not only building the car, you have to buy gas. You have to buy gas for your transportation. You're taking the car on. You need a trailer, all the food, the family you bring with you. So cost is definitely number one.
Yeah.
You need a reliable team.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the driver could do it all, but it'll get to you.
Yeah.
Doing it all while everyone else is just sitting around.
Right.
So you do need a team also.
Reliable team.
A
Some
reliable
people
team.
show up and do the right work.
Right. They'll
Bring a monkey wrench.
Where's this go? The gas?
Yeah, you don't want me under the hood.
But yeah.
That makes sense, actually.
You also think about it. You have to expect it, like you were saying, the cost, the spending of it. You also have to expect something to break. So you have to have that in the back of your mind also.
Right.
That spending money to replace a part that might have breakdown in the road or whatever.
That, bringing your tools.
Do you bring extra parts, like sometimes of some things?
If something happens before, we'll go home. Obviously, and the next day of the event, we'll bring it back and we'll fix it.
Gotcha.
But honestly, we don't have spare parts. Okay. We have spare engines sitting at the house. If we really needed to change one,
Oh man,
we could.
Yeah, they're just sitting on the crane.
Yeah.
But yeah,
What,
I mean, it's like do or die, really.
What I know you guys use racing fuel. Is that more like cost more than obviously like regular like gas?
We use alcohol, which is cheaper,
Yeah.
but it burns
A lot faster.
I'm sure.
like double.
Yeah.
So
the costs somehow end up being the same. So
well, let me put it this way. We used to use C16, which is one of the highest racing fuels. It's not the highest, but it's one of them.
You're talking about like when you say numbers, that's
It's
octane, right?
Yeah, it's racing fuel.
Yeah.
$16 a gallon.
Nelly.
That is ugly.
Yeah.
Man.
Yep.
And I actually remember, I don't think it was you guys. It was somebody ran out of fuel. And like you said, that's not like you could just go to like the Wawa and put fuel your tank. It's a special kind of, it's probably one of the people, that you guys are kind of close with.
Right.
And I remember dude was running around the entire like, where
Because I
everyone's,
know in
the pits, where
at the
everyone's,
track they sell fuel, but it's probably not like what everyone uses though too. They probably sell the basic like.
Well, that they close early, and some
okay.
tracks would even run out of the fuel.
Yeah.
how are you, that like stuff like
Yeah,
that
that-
never makes sense. It's like you're in
Yeah,
an
you gotta
ice
think
cream
about,
store and you run
dude,
out of
there's
ice
like
cream.
hundreds of cars there though. Like on
Yeah,
a big
that's
event
true.
as like
cream? When did we get
a
ice
big
cream?
event like Pan Am's, there's hundreds of cars there.
Yeah.
So
No, but I remember he actually found somebody whose car broke down, so they couldn't race anyway, and he paid like double the normal amount. The guy's like, "No, I need it."
Oh, he bought it off of
Oh,
someone?
he bought it off of someone
Oh,
and
jeez.
paid double the
Yeah.
amount
Well,
just
if
to
you-
get it, and he ran back. He did it in time too.
Well, if he's
I forget
looking-
what the end results were, but he ended up getting. He did another pass. I remember.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Once it's crunch time, you need a tool or something. Anybody runs everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Every
I can
trailer.
that's why it's good to
got
make
this,
those
you got that.
connections. Where you're saying
When you
pops
first
connections.
when you first get there, yeah.
Yeah,
Make those
there's been a
connections.
couple times where we ran into a situation that Lucky Pop talks to everyone because I don't talk to nobody.
Yeah,
But they'll hook him up because they know he'll do the same thing.
yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
awesome. Yeah, that's good. Good stuff.
What's the worst mistake a racer can make during a race?
A red light.
Yes, I knew it was coming. And what? Explain to people what the red light is. How dopey you feel afterwards.
So red lighting is after the staging light. So when you guys are both pulling up to the light, the first one comes on, then the second one comes on. Now you're staged.
Yeah,
Then the official hits a button which drops the lights. So if that first light comes on and you take off, you red light. So basically, you take off too fast is a red light.
got it.
That's
And
where you
that's
gotta
the
be.
worst because you guys just heard that over the last just under an hour, all the prep, all the cost, everything it takes to just even get to that line,
Yeah.
and then you red light. That is like, that makes my stomach just drop right now. It's like, oh my gosh, did I really just do that? That has to be. It's not a good feeling. I'm assuming.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
I won 2 races from guys red lighting in the last round.
that is
Oh, wow.
The
brutal.
worst on a bracket. You made it to
Yeah.
the finals, and that's what you do.
It was more of an intimidation type of thing. It's
Yeah.
basically the same way how I used to lose
Yeah,
that they lost.
They were
So-
intimidated by you?
right.
Oh man,
that's hysterical.
that's great.
So it gets in your head. It's like they're telling you, heck, you got to play Shaq for $1 million, but you never know. You can win, bro.
You
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah,
Just take your
maybe.
chances.
But you're just
Take
your
my chance.
intimidation is, wow, he's so big.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. I just
Right,
walk
right.
right underneath his legs at all times.
Yeah, but you never know.
You can't turn around fast.
It's worth a shot.
It's worth the shot, right?
Heck, you
Worth
would
a shot.
You would red light.
But anything's possible.
I would red light.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that race, one of the guys, he came up to me and he asked me, what's your trick? There isn't really no trick. You just have to stay calm. And he told me, he goes, my crew was hyping me up. So basically, he's in the car and he's already amped,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
which is not good.
No.
Yeah.
No.
So that's when you start getting all antsy and
Focus. You need to focus.
yeah, definitely need to focus. That's what I learned over my years.
Yeah. That's a lot, man.
Yeah, real quick, is there a preference on sides? Like when you pull up, the left lane or the right lane? I know some people have like their weird like.
But the track mixes it up on purpose anyway, right?
No, I know, but what would he prefer though? Other than obviously they set you up on whatever lane, but you don't have a favorite side.
Nah, I do whatever because once you're in the car, it's only the tree being on a different side. It's either on your passenger side or it's on your driver's side.
Yeah.
So that don't faze me, but a lot of guys they pick lanes. Like if I have lane choice, I would tell the other guy to pick the lane,
Yeah.
Nice.
and they're always going to pick the lane. They're not going to say that's just how they are.
Yeah.
But it don't matter to me because once you're lined up, the crowd's not even there no more. You don't even see that.
Yeah.
It's basically like Fast and Furious when you're in a tunnel.
Yeah.
All you're doing is looking straight.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there, it's just you in the car.
Oh, and then one of the last things is when you do your burnout, and then there's all this smoke that's inside the cab. Inside the cab, and you pull someone's running over to pull a door. What the hell is that like? I imagine you just can't see. You're just in a sea of smoke.
Yeah, you're smoked out basically.
Yeah.
So you sit there, they got to fan it out. I tell them to sit there and just let it clear out. Because if not, it's like a fly on the window. Like you know how you see fog just floating.
Yeah.
Any little distraction it'll take you off.
Yeah.
It'll take you off.
Yeah.
So how the hell are you breathing in that though?
He holds his breath.
You know the light. Once you know more than once you have seat time, basically,
Yeah.
you know what to do.
Yeah. That's just one of those things that comes with experience.
Discipline.
Exactly.
Focusing.
Right.
All right, so just to wrap this up, what's next for you and Allie Racing, and where can people find you?
The next is in July, which is the Pan American. That's gonna be our first race this year.
Wow.
Yeah,
you guys are really prepping.
Yeah, I haven't had no seat time this year, but a couple passes normally just gets me back in the groove.
Yeah.
Right now we're building to get more horsepower and finally reach 7 seconds.
Is that the ultimate goal? 7 seconds on the Conquest?
Chasing 7?
Chasing 7.
Chasing 7.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. That's fast.
And what's your Instagram handle? Because I know you use Instagram. Or what else do you use? What other social media you use?
No, just Instagram.
Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Pun_H2O. PUN_H2O.
The number 2. Perfect. All right, so there you have it, folks. The Fast Lane. We will wrap this up with 2 quotes. First one is by Jeff Gordon. I think fear is what keeps us from going over the edge. I mean, as a race car driver, I don't think what makes a good race car driver is a fearless person. I think it's somebody that is comfortable being behind the wheel of something that is somewhat out of control. I love that.
Nice.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah. Mario Andretti. Desire is the key to motivation, but it's the determination and commitment to unrelenting pursuit of your goal, a commitment to excellence that will enable you to attain the success you seek. Mario Andretti with the philosophical quote.
Nice.
Yeah, he went deep.
Yeah, my man. There it is, folks, the Fast Lane. In this episode, we have special guest and race car driver David Cuevas Jr., a.k.a. Pun. In this episode, we discussed the race car industry, sponsorship, major racing influences, the current state of racing and cars, the fastest quarter mile, street racing, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Jeff Gordon and Mario Andretti. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyLeeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyLeeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.